Okay, here's another dream for you. So this one takes place really late at night, middle of the night, and there's groups of people gathered outside of different apartment buildings all throughout the whole city, just in the middle of the night. Everybody's like awake, and their buildings are not on fire, but everybody uh, is expecting their house to be, or their apartment buildings to be burnt down, because there's a crazy fool going throughout the town burning down apartment buildings. And nobody could find this guy. It's like, well, how's this guy doing it? Nobody can find him, nobody can catch him. So everybody's just like waiting outside because they feel like if they go in and go to sleep, their house is going to be burnt, or their apartment building is going to be burnt down too. So I just thought it was weird. It's like, wow. So nobody's even in their apartment buildings. They're just outside. So then somebody catches this guy. They catch him, and the next scene is they bring him into a courtroom, but it's the middle of the night. It's not like 10 in the morning you're going to court. No, this is like 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning. It's dark and everybody's just freaking pissed off. They're mad because the guy is going through and wrecking the places that they live, burning them down or whatever, and displacing them so that they can't go to bed at night. I don't freaking know, but everybody's just pissed off. So, in any case, from that point, this courtroom is huge and it is jam packed. I mean, it's full of freaking people, lots and lots of people, and pretty much everybody in there is just really angry. So, I'm there really just observing, and I'm in the back standing. You know how some courtrooms, they got doors that go from like floor, not really to ceiling because they got high ceilings, but like 10 feet tall doors. I mean, freaking huge doors, and they're big old thick, wood doors and solid wood, or wood. I don't know what kind of freaking wood it was, but anyway, big wooden doors, like a big courtroom. So I'm just observing, and this guy, he gets ushered in by a bailiff to the front of the courtroom, and people are mad. They're just, I know, I keep saying they're mad. Everybody's mad. So ushering this guy up to the front, the judge is sitting there and just kind of looking around the courtroom, and just the judge is observing what the people are doing, what the reactions are. So I don't know. I mean, the judge kind of gives a nod to the bailiff, like, go ahead and uncuff this guy, because he's in front of the judge, and the judge is in charge of his own courtroom. So the guy pulls off his handcuffs, the bailiff does, but everybody in the courtroom is just getting so mad. Put the cuffs back on him. Put the cuffs back on him. And then the bailiff tries to put cuffs back on this guy. Wasn't happening. This bad guy that got caught had like this ability, kind of like if you've seen Star Wars, which who hasn't, when Darth Vader kind of gives that look with his big old circular black glass eyeball things. He just kind of looks and makes that the captain or whatever, one of those guys, made him crumble. Well, that's kind of what this guy could do to the bailiff or anybody that tried to stop him. Like I said, I was there observing, so I'm standing by the back doors, or the main doors, I should say, that go out to the hallway. So now I'm standing there like, wow, this guy's gonna leave. and he knows who I am. I don't know why he knew who I was, but I believed that he knew who I was. So I said, I got to get out of here. So I just slipped out the door, because I was standing by the door. Doors were shut, but still. So I slipped out the door, and right across the hallway, kind of like courthouse I've seen somewhere. Actually, I think it was in California, where I just slipped across the hall to the other side of the hallway. Right there was elevators, so I just hopped in the elevator. But back when I had this dream, is before everybody had a cell phone, and I needed to go call my friend. So at that point in my life, I was working in LA a lot, Los Angeles, and in a lot of different high-rise buildings doing electrical. And there's always a parking structure underneath the buildings, and there's always like a payphone down there because, like I said, not everybody, hardly anybody back then actually had a cell phone. So I had to go down there. So I went down into the parking garage, the underground parking structure, and I got on the payphone. I called my buddy. It's like, Jeff, dude, there's some heavy stuff going down and nobody realizes what's going on. He goes, hey, Dave, let's hang out. I was like, it's not about hanging out right now, man. There's some heavy stuff going down, and people got to understand what's actually going on. He's like, let's hang out. It's like, well, whatever. He goes, well, where are you at? And then I told him where I was, and so he came down to meet me in his little red car, because at the time that's what he had, a little red car. And then I woke up. But I feel like there's a lot of symbolism in this dream. And apartment buildings, I think, represent where the church, like church people in general, where they live. They live in a place that's not theirs. They don't own it, but they made home out of it. And this guy going around the town burning the things down is burning down where they're comfortable, burning down their home, even though it's not really their home. And so that's making everybody mad. And they bring this guy in front of a judge who I believe is God. God isn't concerned at all. As a matter of fact, it seems like God is actually okay with this guy burning down everything, because what is being burnt down isn't what God wants them to be in. He wants them to come out and let his people come out of the church to be the church the way they're supposed to. So I remember sharing that with a pastor that I knew at a church I was going to, and shoot, man, this was like probably 27 years ago. I was like, I really believe that God's doing something, and he's establishing something now to call the church out of the church to become the church the way you're supposed to be, instead of being a bunch of religious people that really live in a system, kind of like the Matrix, but not really. Anyway, so the guy said, I think you have issues with church leadership. I'm like, how do you get that out of what I just said? But anyway, that's what he believed, and kind of turned me off wanting to go to church anymore. So that, with a lot of other things, doesn't mean I gave up on God or church people. Don't get me wrong. It left a bad taste in my mouth. So I just, it's like, well, I still believe that. So now this, 27 years later, I think that I see that happening, and it's been happening. And, even the stupid COVID garbage that, churches are shutting down, and I don't know, back of my mind, it makes me think people are all mad. But I don't know. I think there's something more to all this. There's a spiritual element that I don't know if people are catching on. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. Thought it was interesting.